and Town. Hoping to do well in this. I'll give you the exact numbers in just a moment, but we are off and running.
Yep, and as always, we have the sword at the traditional spot. Let's see what kind of path these runners are taking. I'm going to say most of these are probably going to take the standard level 3. It looks like everybody except Dr. J. Dr. J still might be going to level 3 first, just not screen scrolling. He might be checking the shops too as well, no?
Both he and Raikou Rider look to be right now checking out to see if they can't get a bomb drop. They're also checking the shop right now to see if there's going to be a cheap candle for sale there, but they're finding out that the arrows there is nice. Oh boy. Do you see what I see?
What do you see?
I see a level 3 that is filled with Wizrobes and Lionels and Gyptos.
Oh,
no!
That is gross. This is heavy combat already. Oh my goodness, Rick. You're talking enemies that do 2 hearts damage each. Wow.
Yeah, and we see a ladder block on the left-hand side, so Fred's going to say, absolutely no way am I doing that dungeon. We see cheap meat. It's worth 50 rupees. It's in the normal bomb shop. Now, Fred did score some bombs, and that's going to allow him to fill up some secrets at this point. And we see Dr. J PhD. He's checking this Armos, because there's a potential it could be the Armos that has the item, but it turns out not. It's just the shop, but we do see where the candle is. It's in the rare shop, but look at those bomb prices.
Yeah, very expensive. A small discount on the blue candle. I believe it was a 5% discount. I believe there's also a discount on the blue ring. And that blue ring could come into play, Rick, considering the combat that we are seeing in these dungeons. Sidetown going to head for level 1 next.
Level 1 just makes sense. It is a dungeon that will have 3 items inside. You know, you can't really do anything in level 3. However, you can't do anything in level 1. There's 2 key doors right immediately.
Sorry, Rick. How come that pirouette trick didn't work for Sidetown on that locked door?
That's because the way they came into the dungeon was through that left door, as opposed to the bottom door that they normally come in when you're playing this in the vanilla game. So because of that, the trick is going to go towards the opposite side wall. Now, in this case, the opposite side wall is a solid wall.
Makes sense to me. Now Fred is going to check Death Mountain Spa. I'm going to check the shop first. He's going to find that same cheap bait again. But here is the Armos statue, and look at this. That blue ring is no longer in play. Sidetown and Fred going to be right behind, picking up the red ring, Rick.
Getting the red ring is absolutely nice for combat purposes.
No question about it. Those blue Wizrobes, those blue Lionels, those Gyptos that would do 2 hearts of damage, now they're only going to deal a half a heart damage. That's absolutely amazing. We have Fred, Sidetown, and Raikou Rider in level 6, and we've got the blue land molas here, the fast-moving ones that do normally, again, 2 hearts of damage, but because they've got the red ring, only going to deal half a heart. And we find the map for the first time. Contestants, name that ink blot.
It's a cactus.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Rick. I got nothing. Dr. J going to head for the coast here, and we got blue Gorillas here in the overworld. 1 heart of damage that they're going to do both their bodies and their boomerangs. So we may get a look at the ladder item on the coast momentarily, provided we have relatively easy items or easy enemies to get through.
So the one thing with shapes is that you're going to see most of these runners pull off is that they're going to try to go towards the center of the map wherever they possibly can. One thing of note is getting that red ring where they did as the Armos item. That's going to really be nice come later on when they want to go back to that level 3, because you saw what level 3 had, a whole bunch of enemies that do 2+ hearts damage. Now, you're not going to go back with 3 hearts, because that's just asking for trouble, but you probably see these runners opt to come back when they do have maybe 5, 6, 7 hearts.
Well, we have the potential of a poverty seed here, Rick, is unfortunately Dr. J taking an overworld just past that small secret. 7 rupees for the small secret, 27 rupees we saw earlier for the medium secret. And while you were talking about that, Rick, we did discover that the white sword was our ladder item on the coast.
That means it's going to be very nice if we get the ladder before level 8. If we get in level 2, it's also going to come into play. Now, one thing that you want to really know with regards to these flags, you mentioned it being a poverty seed. It doesn't really become as great of a poverty seed in this setting as it would if you randomize the entrances, because here the biggest thing that's going to come into play is the fact that you know where the secrets are. You know where the 3 100s or the top secrets are going to be. You know where all the medium secrets are going to be. So that comes into play, and you're not going to see any of these runners take any of the door repair charges, which would come into play in a full out entrance shuffle, if you would.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Rick. And furthermore, you're not going to see these runners. You may see some of these runners make this purchase if they don't get to Death Mountain fast enough. But that blue ring, that's not going to come into play either. So they're not going to have to collect that hard-earned money.
Yeah, that red ring definitely does save a whole lot. You might see runners have to spend that money on the bomb upgrade. And speaking of the bomb upgrade, 75 rupees is the minimum it can be.
That's right, Rick. It's as good as it gets at 75 rupees, but Town only has 40% of the required dollars as Dr. J gets his heart container from Monocle Rock. So now he's got a 2 in 3 chance of picking up the white sword item if he decides to make that play now. But I think he's going to wait until he gets that 6th heart.
And what you're going to see him opt to do is exactly what you said. Wait until you get the 6 because you don't want to make a return trip up to that waterfall. We see Raikou making the play for level 2. He's going to be the first of these runners to pop in here, as he will go ahead and search in here. It's still going to have the 2 floor items. Maybe we can find it. And it's an easy combat first room with the ropes in there.
Yep, and we've got some more robes. This kind of looks like a vanilla level 2 to start things off, but hopefully the rest of these enemies aren't as bad. Well, we got Wall Masters, so that's not too bad either.
We know we're not going to get the gorillas because we saw them in the overworld. The enemies that you see in the overworld, they will not be in the dungeons. So therefore, we know we will not see any gorillas in there. But if we see Staffels in here, this will make this a very nice setup here. We're trying to figure out what the communal enemy is going to be at one point as well. As we do see Moblins in here, and Raikou's going to try to keep his beam sword, or at least find out what this room has so he doesn't have to do an up and A. And he does see that it is a key, so he's ladder blocked key, which is not what you want to see when you only have one key in your arsenal. But it's a different story.
Yeah, he finds another key, but look at this. We've got it guarded by a Patra, and he's going to try and sneak by.
He's got a red ring. It's not a big deal. You lose a half a heart if you get bonked by him. Would have been a much worse situation if he did not have that in his arsenal at this point. Now, one thing of note is we had the Mugger room here in level 2, and Raikou has opted to give away one of his bomb capacity. That could come back to haunt him because you know what the game is here at Shapes.
That's right, find the bomb hole. But of course, again, we do have that the bomb upgrade cost is only 75 rupees. So if he does find one of them and he's well equipped for the rupees, he could get some of those bombs back. So I don't disagree with Raikou's move by getting rid of the bomb. He does want to explore level 2 and find those 2 items. Who knows? It could be something he needs.
Well, you see, the reason why he opted to do the bombs over using the hearts, because he just got that heart container to put him at 4, and he doesn't know what the white sword is going to be at this point. It may be something that is required to beat this game. Speaking of something to beat this game, that is a raft, and this turned out to be a required Mugger room 2.
Absolutely, because you need that raft to gain access into level 4. So definitely a great play there for Raikou to proceed and rather than up an A and just back out and come back later. And this is a relatively small level 2, so again, contestants, name that ink blot.
First thing that came to mind is an anchor. And look at this. That is the red candle. So now Raikou does not have to worry about making that purchase for the candle either. In fact, he may have to go to level 8 after he is done with this level.
You say an anchor? I say it's a saxophone.
Where's Bleeding Gums Murphy when we need him?
Right, and there's the raft for Dr. J. Also, Raikou gets his Triforce out of level 2. That's the first Triforce on the board for any of our 4 featured runners, and Raikou is going to bail out. And you said you found the Harken here. Those are the 2 items then.
The two items that were in level 2 were the red candle and the raft.
Oh,
That red candle could get him to level 8. And so, therefore, as you can see, he's got that candle out, and he's going to head on over to level 8. Level 8 turned out to be a big play in last night's race, because that was where the thing that unlocked the remainder of the seed was. But we are still waiting to see where this thing goes with this level 8. There's a compass early on. And here's the question. Do you dig 8 knowing the Triforce is early?
that is a good question. I have no doubt in my mind that some of these runners are going to hit that Gamelmatic 9000. They're going to take the Triforce and bail, hoping that the 3 items in level 8 are nothing that's going to aid them on their quest. I think it's just going to depend on what the enemy set is, Rick. If it's an easy enemy set, I could see these runners dig out level 8. But of course, as we all know in shapes, level 8 can be in excess of 40 rooms.
Level 8 can be very, very difficult. And we are seeing Fred in Town, and they are spending quite a long time inside of this level 6.
Yeah, level 6 is another dungeon that can be in excess of 40 rooms, but unlike level 8, there's only 2 items in level 6 instead of 3. Is this one of the items? It is a heart container.
And here's the thing. Shape 6 is kind of the equivalent of 1Q7. 1Q7 with your 33 rooms of pure torture. The way that shapes are built, level 1 is going to be your smallest of the first 6 dungeons. Level 6 is going to be your largest. As you can see based on that map for level 6 versus what you saw in Dr. J PhD's for level 2, yeah, it could be quite the time sink.
Absolutely. We've already found out what our 2 items in level 6 are. They're both heart containers, so a lot of love here in level 6.
So Dr. J PhD is going to be following Raikou into level 8. And the big thing for him is we've seen that there are already Lamolas in this dungeon. We see that there are Gibdos. And based on the looks of things, I haven't seen any Wizrobes inside of this level 8. It looks like the Gibdos turned out to be the communal enemy, the ones that transport between 2 different enemy groups.
Yeah, definitely not the end of the world to see Gibdos. In fact, it may not be such a bad thing because they are in the bomb-dropping group, but you still got to be careful because they're quite strong at 7 HP, and you lose 2 hearts if you get bopped by them. In Dr. J's case, everybody else hits a half a heart. Raikou getting that Triforce poorly guarded by that Goma, so that's going to be his second Triforce piece. Let's see if he decides to go back to try and find the other 2 items, or if he's going to gamble here. And looks like he is going to No, yes! Go ahead, Raikou Rider pulling off the moves here. Dr. J checking that diamond staircase. We find
Oh no! Well, that could be bad news there for Raikou. Dr. J PhD lights the bow on fire, but if he knows what was happening on that screen to his south, he would not be lighting that onto fire at this point. That is a huge find for him. Now, does he stick around in this 8? We know Raikou's going to have to make a return trip here.
Absolutely. The boat absolutely required one of the puzzle pieces that you need to defeat Ganon here, and Fred and Town still looking to scour the items. Town already found the ground item, again, which was a heart container. Fred found the staircase heart container. Now, this might have been the room where the other heart container was that Fred's in, because I remember it was in a Gliok room. However, there are more than 1 Gliok rooms here in level 6. Let's see if this is the one.
Well, the problem is that level 6, as you can see, this is now starting to take 10 minutes for both of these runners. That is a huge time sink for both of these runners. And you know how these qualifiers run. It could really, really make the difference between finishing well and finishing in the middle of the pack. And that's something that could happen, that could end up with your Z-score. And maybe that there's an easier path if you come back later. But both of these runners do not want to come back to this dungeon. And that's part of the reason why they're spending so much time here. They want to full clear it now. And they want to make it a thing in the past once they get that Triforce.
Absolutely. And Fred did find his heart container, so he now needs to just find the Triforce. But he doesn't have the compass like Town does. And you see on the map that he needs to be in that southeast eastern section of this ink blot. Dr. J has found 2 of the items. There's the one on the ground, but he does know where the Triforce is, and this is a situation where he may just leave that 3rd item behind.
Yeah, he's got both staircase items, one of them being a huge item. He's got the raft, which gets him into level 4. He now has 6 hearts, which can get him the white sword, so he could be making a few options. Raikou has taken his 6 keys into level 1. We saw the 2 key blocks earlier, which prevented both Sidetown and Fred from exploring this dungeon. Let's see what we have in here.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 items on the ground plus the staircase item. There's another key, so we found a lot of keys. I guess you just needed the 1 key at least to start level 1 to have a fair amount of access to it so far. And level 1 in shapes tends to be segmented more often than not, Rick.
Yeah, this means the staircase that Raikou could be finding in this room may not be the item staircase. It could be the transport staircase, but it's not. It is a heart container.
So if we see any other staircases in level 1, we will know for a fact this is a segmented level 1. So we're still looking for the 2 items on the ground, as Fred and Sidetown both pick up their Triforce out of level 6.
Gotta give Dr. J PhD a lot of credit here for getting through this dungeon as much as he has, given the fact that he is still on Green Tunic. Then we see Raikou ending up pulling out the Triforce here, and I'm certain that Dr. J PhD didn't want to use the key in that door immediately here. He wanted to see what this was going to drop, if it dropped anything, or if it was a staircase.
I'm just a little bit surprised Dr. J would be going,
Hey!
oh, and there's the ink blot. Holy smokes. We've got a segmented level 8. Name that ink blot.
Hi, Patra. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, that's
gross.
gross.
Going to be a transport staircase. That could be a drop room. Remember, shapes in those kind of rooms, like the spiral staircase room, the diamond staircase room, could have items that will drop in those rooms. You have to clear those rooms in order to trigger the drops. So we do not have a guarantee that that's a no drop room. That may have to be a combat room. We see another mugger room here in level 1.
Oof, man, they are just all over the place so far. And that looks like a video camera and a stairway. That's what that ink blot looks like to me.
So we see the result of one of the staircases there. That would be the in-dungeon transport staircase. The other one, which is where that Patra is, will take you to the northern side. Dr. J is going to say, nope, I want this Triforce. I'm done with you at this point. I am going to go ahead and clear this room out, and then I'm going to go grab this Triforce, and I'm going to get out of here.
And we find the large secret on Fred's side, and it's only 86 rupees. Not the greatest. I've certainly seen worse in my days doing commentary. Dr. J going to go ahead and get his Triforce out of level 8. And, looking at this map, I don't blame him. He's going to bail. There's no question in my mind.
Well, the thing is that he's at 6 hearts right now, and he's got to work around that Patra in order to get into the transport staircase. It's not going to end well for somebody who only has 6 hearts at this point. So It's best for him at this point to leave this dungeon. If only he knew what was at the Armos item at this point.
All right, you are there. And looking at Dr. J's money count, he's sitting on 131 rupees. And with his acquired raft, I got to imagine he's going to go ahead and take either that free heart container at the raft spot, or he might pick the potion, depending on if he thinks this could be a magical sword seed. Given the combat that we've seen in the dungeons, we'll see what he decides.
We see the book for Raikou Rider, and he's going to go ahead and burn it. As Dr. J PhD, is he going for the heart container? Yes, he is. So he may be trying to store up some hearts for an upcoming pull of the magical sword, which can be anywhere between 10 and 14 hearts. It's located just to the west of level 6. So if Dr. J PhD puts off level 6 towards the end of the run, and we now know that he's going to be able to do so with being able to get away with it, well, no problems. But he's going to be the first one to head on over towards this white sword area. We haven't seen several of these items in this game.
Yeah, we still have the recorder. We still have the power bracelet. We still have the silver arrows, of course. Now, keep in mind that important items cannot be in level 9. By what we mean by the important items are the power 5. That would be the bow, ladder, raft, the recorder, and the power bracelet. As Sci-Town finds his heart container here in level 8, it's going to put him at 7 hearts.
Dr.
Here's the white.
JPHD nearly taking some deaths there before getting to this white sword item, and it is going to be a required item by way of that recorder. So let's see what Dr. JPHD plans on doing next. I'm going to think that he's going to go along with Raikou and be in level 4.
Speaking of which, we have found our white sword item, and it is, in fact, the Olive Garden breadstick, the recorder, the key to gain access to level 7.
That's what I just said.
Wow. I'm terribly sorry about that, Rick. I must have had a momentary lapse, but Fred just found his bow here in level 8, and Dr. J is going to make that play for level 4.
Yes, he is. So Fred ends up getting the bow, which is nice to see at this point. Raikou's going to go ahead and grab one of the large secrets here. Dr. JPHD is going to go ahead towards this room, get the map, and we see this map to level 4. Name that ink blot. By the way, I think Raikou Rider pulled out the ladder because he's about to do a world wrap.
Oh, nice. Where could was that the ground item in level 8, or was that in level 1? It might have been in level 1. That might have been the second floor item in level 1 along the book.
It had to be. It had to be at this point. We did see a heart container here in level 4, but Raikou Rider is going to go ahead, grab this white sword, and is he going back to level 8 at this point?
He might do it.
Oh, he's going back to level 8.
We'll see if this comes back into play. Remember, the bow is here, so Raikou having some kind of wherewithal of going back here into level 8, and it's going to pay off for him. Fred's here in level 8 still trying to find the third item, and he's going to go ahead and take this. No, that was the staircase he just came from. So here we are in level 4. This is not a segmented level 4, so when they find the staircase, they're going to find that staircase item, plus there's going to be one item on the ground. Side-town here in level 2.
We've already seen that item on the ground. It was the heart container here in level 4. Fred is still in level 8. Side-town is in level 2 at this point. And so Side-town will get the raft, will get maybe the red candle at this stage. Fred will probably do the same thing, head to level 2 next as well. You'd have to think at this point the routes for both Side-town and Fred is once they're done with the 8-2, they're going to go check the white sword and then go into level 5, which is where Raikou is right now.
Yeah, interesting play here. Level 5 is the first dungeon that is going to guarantee to have a transport staircase. If it's segmented, there will be multiple transport staircases. Perhaps this is a transport staircase. No, that's where the shutter door was, so that definitely wasn't it.
We see a heart container on the floor here in level 5, so Raikou is looking for now the Triforce as well. As to see where is the staircase.
Yeah, finding that floor item is huge, and that's a lot of the heart containers that are already out of the 9 heart shuffle. And Dr. J going to go ahead and spend his maximum bomb, so now he can only carry up to 7. Now, keep in mind, we saw earlier in level 6 that the bomb upgrade is 75 rupees. Plus, in one of these other 7 dungeons, not named level 9, there is a second bomb upgrade for that same 75 rupee price. Raikou gets the Triforce out of level 5. What is he going to do now? He's going to go back in, look for that staircase item.
I do want to point out one thing to you. First of all, the Triforce in level 5 is going to be ladder blocked. So Raikou with the ladder in hand is going to save himself a walk back, which is Fred and Side-town might be setting themselves up because they have not been to level 4 just yet.
Well, that's absolutely true, and Raikou's just going to tank through this patra. He's going to take the staircase, and that is the transport staircase. He finds another staircase. Maybe it has the item. Maybe it won't. As Side-town gets his Triforce on level 2, that's going to be his second Triforce on the board. He already found the raft. I don't know if he found the second item. Yes, he did. He's got the red candle.
By the way, I'm thinking that this room right now that Raikou is in is going to be the staircase that has the item, unless this is a segmented. Guess what? It is a segmented level 5.
And
Hey,
hey!
the wand is the second item in level 4, which is nice offensive upgrade here for Dr. J, PhD. He's going to do an up and A, and let's see what he plans on doing here with this remaining room in this level 4 that will host the Triforce.
And Sidetown and Monocle Rock decides to pick up the potion. Hey, that's not a bad play at all. You know you need the ladder to get to the white sword, and he may be thinking the magical sword is not in his future, so it's definitely not a bad play. And Sidetown's going to head for the white sword, and he's going to be glad he did. He's going to get that recorder.
Here's patience for Dr. J, PhD. He will walk away with the Triforce in 4 and not have to come back. So, Power Bracelet in level 5, Raiku's going to say no to that. It is a helpful item in regards to...
Yeah, that's true, Rick. It is helpful because there are 4 Power Bracelet spots, and when you don't have the recorder, it does gain some nice transportation to get from one side of Hyrule to the other. Fred getting his Triforce out of level 2, that's going to be his 3rd Triforce piece. I'm not sure if he found either the raft or the red candle. Raikou going to get his recorder as well. He definitely has the red candle. I don't know if he got the raft, though. I would imagine he did.
But I have to assume that since Fred is walking away, that he has. We'll get an update once we take a look at his inventory. So Sidetown's in this level 5, and unfortunately he's going to be setting himself up for a return trip. Raikou is getting ready to head towards level 4, and that would confirm that he has not yet yielded the Triforce. Having seen that it was a Lamel that blocked, said, nope, I'm not going to go ahead and do that at this point.
And now
And
Dr.
name
J.
that tune.
Name that tune. I actually don't have the sound up on any of these racers here at the moment, but one thing I always like to say, Rick, is if it's a tune I don't recognize, just go with an SNES RPG.
Sidetown bullying his way through this Patra, and unfortunately Patra's saying, yeah, I'm not going to make it easy for you to find out what this inside the staircase. You're going to go ahead and like it right at this point. So Dr. J, PhD is going to have to be careful in this room. This can be a very dangerous room. And he barely misses out on a Lionel Beam, which would do 2 hearts damage. It's really hard
no!
for Dr. J, PhD because of the fact that, you know, we don't know how many hearts he has until he's beeping because of his heart color.
Yeah, because he's kind of got like a cyan-colored or a light blue-colored tint on his hearts display, so it's kind of difficult to tell how many hearts he has left. But yeah, brutal. Again, red ring, for those of you just joining us, was our Armo statue item, which is in near level 6 location at Death Mountain. And out of the frying pan and into the fire. Oh, he almost got the bullseye, but it just went Brooklyn on him. Still, finished him off nicely.
Gotta give a lot of credit to Dr. J, PhD for getting through that last room there. That was a tough room. Now, he gets bodied by the manhandler here, which is unfortunate, but he'll make his way back.
Fred trying to get past this Patra here. He's down to 1 heart, now down to half. He's able to skirt through. That will be the transport staircase.
So as I mentioned before, the one unfortunate thing here for both Fred and Sidetown is without the ladder in hand. By the way, Fred did pick up the raft as we got confirmation for the brief second that he was up on his menu. And it did show up the raft on there. But we do know that everyone's going to have to make their way back to level 1 at some point in time in order to get that ladder out of there. Now, some of you people may be tuning in. Why do these runners not have the ladder? It's in level 1. It's in level 1 usually the place where they want to start their journey. Well, in this case, the problem is that there were key doors on the north and south sides. Level 3 was an absolute hell no. So therefore, with that in mind, here we are.
Yeah, that's right. This has been an interesting order seed here. I mean, unless you're really good at low percent, I don't think any of these runners are going to be completing level 3 first without the proper equipment or mail here. Fred's still in level 5, and Dr. J just about ready to take down this Patra here. He's just got to zap him, and he's got him, and Let's see if this is our item or if it's the transport staircase. What do we have here? It's the transport.
It's a transport staircase, but again, really nice combat here from Dr. J, PhD, as Raikou goes into another mugger room, and I think this time he had to give away a heart container, although he's sitting at 10 hearts, so it gives him a 20% chance of pulling out the magical sword when we get to the end. We do see one of the items in level 7 on the floor was a heart container.
Yep, so we just need to find the staircase item. Now, in Raikou Rider's case, because he hasn't done level 6 yet, he may make one play at the magical sword to see if he can get it. But if he fails on that attempt, I doubt he's going to go back, because he's in pretty good shape right now. He's got the red ring, he's sitting on 10 hearts, which is essentially 40 hearts, and he's got the white sword.
I think when it comes to Raikou, it's going to really depend on what he finds in 6. Like, does he find the hearts while he's digging level 6? Because then he might just double back out and try to get the magical sword before he heads out there. And by the looks of things, Raikou's going to set things up that 6 is going to be his last dungeon before 9.
Yeah, definitely. So, side town here in level 1 again. Level 1 is where the big stuff is. We've got the all-important ladder, but of course we've got the book, so going to have to be careful that he doesn't step on it with his foot, because when you have the book, the wand gains more quote-unquote power, because when it makes contact with enemies or the walls, it bursts into flames. Now, sometimes it can be beneficial. You can do it as a long-range red candle attack, but for the most part, it's more of a hindrance than a help, because you can get damaged by your own flames. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, but this shoe has the compass. That is better news at this point. And that map is taunting Dr. J, PhD in the previous room, but this compass is going to at least help him out, give him some sort of idea of where he needs to go. Fred pulled out the recorder of the white sword item, so he's got that. He's going to probably do 4 into maybe 7. I wouldn't be surprised if he chooses to go to level 1 at some point in time, but we know, based on what we see from Raikou Rider, that level 1 is going to be a destination that you want to make at some point in time. There's the red ring, just allowing Raikou to power through these enemies.
Yeah, level 3, plus he's got the ladder, so it's going to make doing combat even more easier. And now he's going to be looking for the 2 items, and we've got more Wizrobes. These are easier to contend, as you can kill them with 1 bomb or 2 white sword hits, but you still got to be careful. You get hit by their beams, you're losing 4 hearts, or in this case with the red ring, 1 heart.
So it's at least a somewhat easy room in order to pull out the Triforce, and I don't know if Dr. J is going to go ahead and check one extra, or check any extra rooms at this point to see if he can't pull out the staircase item, but based on the fact that he's grabbing this Triforce as deep as he is, oh my god, that level 3.
Wow, that's ET.
That is a disgusting looking level 3. That's kind of like...
Oh my gosh, look at how linear it is. I mean, it's like a miniature level 7 or a level 8 from Second Quest, Rick.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Except for you don't have all the staircases like you do in Second Quest.
Yeah, it's not segmented, so there's just the one staircase that's going to have the item, plus you're going to have the floor drop also. Now, Dr. J did get the Triforce out of level 7. I don't think he found the staircase item, so hopefully for his sake, it's not something he needs.
So it looks like Dr. J is going to stay away from level 3. He's going to 1 next.
Raikou sees that Triforce, and it's a good thing he didn't pick it up, because he just found the staircase item, and he's going to hope for some bombs, potentially from these Gibdos, before he makes his trek through that staircase.
Also, we see Dr. J picking up the heart container here before heading over towards level 1. So level 3, we have ourselves the silver arrows, and that is going to actually put Raikou Rider into a thing we call Triforce and Go mode.
Oh, absolutely. What a huge find there for Raikou. And again, resources being key, having the red ring, having the white sword to get through that riffraff, those Wizrobes, those Lionels, and those Gibdos. It is going to pay off. And yes, he's in Triforce and Go mode. So all he's got to do now is collect Triforces, get out, and make his play into level 9. He's in really good shape right now, Rick.
This is where you want to be feeling good about yourself. And you got to do levels 7 and 6. And 7 is going to be your first destination. Then you're going to take that and head over to level 6 right after that. The big thing here is, where does Raikou sit as far as the remainder of this race? Because he's not the only racer here. And the way that this tournament calculates scores, could he be part of the top 5 that makes up the average of the Z-score?
Yeah, very well might. We will find out in due time, but right now in level 7, Raikou's the only thing that's on his mind. Find Triforces, make my way to level 9. Dr. J gets his Triforce out of level 1, so that's going to be his 5th Triforce piece. I don't know if he got everything out of there. Nope, he's going back in as Fred gets his wand out of level 4.
And normally at this point, you'd start to get yourself concerned about the aspect of, am I going to have everything I need for the rest of this game? Well, when you have 10 keys, that's the least of your concerns at this point. Now, I have a feeling that if Raikou does come across that bomb upgrade that we know that is in level 6, that's worth 75 rupees, he's buying it at this point. Red Ring, you don't have to worry about purchasing jewelry. With 250 rupees in your arsenal, you're probably going to spend some on arrows in these dungeons right now, but you're not going to be needing to make a major purchase at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Raikou's got more money than he's ever going to need, and yeah, which means one thing. If, and only if, he stumbles upon the staircase item in level 7, guaranteed it's going to be the any key.
By the way, just pointing out that Dr. J does have the ladder in his arsenal at this point, as Fred is searching for some bombs outside of level 3.
Dr. J just got wall mastered. Undoubtedly, that was more of a warp tactic than a mistake there, because he's still trying to find that last item. We know it's the book, and Dr. J's going to want no part of it.
And yep, there it is, the ladders for Side Town. So everyone here on our stream right now has the ladder in the arsenal. Now, there's something that Raikou wants to have, but he can't have it from that direction. That is that compass.
Yeah, we had seen that earlier on Dr. J's side here in that shoot room, so he's going to have to find that workaround and then claim that compass before he can move on. He's going to try and bomb to the right, it looks like. Is he able to get through that way? No. There's that heart container in level 7, so he's found that same heart container that Dr. J found. He's up to 11 hearts and a 40% chance at the magical sword if he decides to make that play. Sidetown grabbing his Triforce out of level 4. That's going to be his 4th Triforce piece.
By the way, yeah, I just like seeing when somebody pulls what Fred is doing inside of this level 3, where you go inside of a level, or you go inside of a room. It's got mixed enemies in there. And you're going to kill some of them, but you're going to leave and come back in because you want to see what the master enemy of that group is going to be. And the big purpose of doing so is going to be to find out if it's going to be a nice, easy enemy to deal with. Because who wants to deal with a blue Wizrobe?
Absolutely. And also by doing that, in addition to finding out what the master enemy is going to be in that room, it also locks the room in place. So any enemies that you killed, they don't come back. And if you were to take an unfortunate death, you don't have to do the entire room over again.
Oh, Dr. J is going to have to be careful here before he ends up getting this white sword, because that's the only reason why he's here. He wants this white sword, but he doesn't want to get sniped by a gorilla in order to do so.
Oh, man. Wow, look at that ink blot at level 7.
3. Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful looking level 7. We had a feeling it was going to be, because you know that level 7 is the inverse of level 8. So as a result, yeah, here's your level 7, friends.
Yeah, that's on the beefy side in terms of shape. That's one of the bigger ones you'll see. That's a 28 room level 7. And Raikou picking up the compass. This is the room he needs to be in to claim his Triforce. Just has one more Gibdo left to go, and he's got his 7th Triforce. Just needs to get the one out of level 6.
As Dr. J goes back into level 5, and he's going to be able to get this Triforce now that he does have the ladder in his arsenal. We have yet to see both of the boomerangs. That's an interesting thing not to have seen either of at this point.
I'm starting to get the sneaky suspicion, Rick, we could have double boomerangs in level 9, because I believe the only items we haven't seen yet are the double boomerangs. We haven't seen the magical key yet either.
Yeah, we've seen the power bracelet, and it is in this level that Dr. J is in right now, inside of level 5.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's the Triforce for Dr. J PhD, and just based on the way that he was walking, I don't think he really wanted to just have that. 11 hearts is not good enough for the magical sword, as Raikou finds out, so therefore his 40% chance of grabbing that is now 0.
That's right. So Raikou, depending on when he finds this Triforce, he finds the 2 items, which of course are heart containers, before he finds the Triforce, he may take another stab at the magical sword at that point. We shall see. If he finds the Triforce first, of course, he's ready to go into level 9.
Now, one weird thing to know is that 3 of our runners have been wearing this red ring for quite some time. Dr. J PhD has been sitting here with the green now for 40 plus minutes. And now he's about ready to finally get to the Armo statue, where he can find out that he could have had jewelry a long time ago.
But you know what, Rick? I got to commend Dr. J for his combat tonight. I mean, he could have easily flopped with no ring.
Oh, absolutely. He has done a phenomenal job, given all the things that the seat has thrown him based on the Patras, the Wizrobe heavy dungeons, as he gets ready to join Raikou Rider inside of this level 6. Now, the problem is Dr. J PhD is still looking for one thing, the silver arrows. But he's going to make a detour first.
Now, he's going to check the magical sword. Now, in his case, he doesn't know it. He has a 1 in 3 chance of picking up that magical sword, because we know 11 hearts isn't enough. Is 12 hearts enough? No, sir.
You know, I'm on the call with you here, Laz. It's going to be a case where it's 14, and you're going to like it.
Yes. I've been in a lot of seeds that I've called where it was a 14 heart mags. I remember the first one I called with a TGE, where there were a couple of runners that had 13 hearts, and my reaction was pretty much gold. It's like, oh no, it's a 14 heart mags. Fred's still here in level 7. He's found the heart container, but we'll see if he is able to find that second time. That's one we still haven't found yet, Rick. It looks like Raikou did find his Triforce out of level 6 as he's making his play into level 9 now.
Oh, yes, he is. So he's getting ready to head on over to level 9. So we get the usual arsenal of things that we're going to be looking out for in level 9. You guys have been here for many, many Zelda 1 Randomizer races. You know exactly what we're listening for, which is why we switched on over to Raikou Rider's audio. We want to hear that roar. But of course, because there's other bosses that could be in this level, it may not necessarily be the roar of Ganon when you walk into a room. It could be a roar of an Aquamentus, which is definitely messed up with a few runners' minds in a qualifier a couple of weeks ago. Well, good luck seeing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at these shutter doors, looks like you can go any direction. The one that we saw earlier this afternoon, you could only go to the right, which is very, very rare. Raikou's going to go to the north because he didn't like seeing those Wizrobes. And we get the ugly enemy set here in level 9. It is the Wizrobe Lionel set as Sidetown finds his silver arrows in level 3. He still needs to get the bow out of level 8, but he hasn't even been into level 8 yet.
So now Raikou Rider's in a position right now where he could easily find out where Ganon is at some point in time, which is something he's hoping to be able to do. I can't even tell where the doors are at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to determine shutter doors and ones that automatically open and which ones that aren't going to open. Now, because we're dealing with shapes, the first quote-unquote dark room that we're going to see, the one where the lights are going to dim even further, that's where Ganon is going to be.
So he's in every single room of this 9.
Pretty much, Rick. Eyes of Ganon, as they say in Zelda 2.
Let's not talk about the fire spell.
Right, we're moving on from that. I was talking about another town that was earlier than Fire Spell Town. Right now, we're trying to find ourselves some bacon, and we're trying to find the princess as well. And again, the old men, all of the hints in this tournament are community hints, so these runners are on their own.
Well, the important thing is that you tried. And the important thing for us is that we can barely see what's going on here. So we don't know if there's a shutter door in a particular room. We can hear if there's a roar of Ganon. Now, this could be just the Raiku's setup at this point in time. So bear in mind that it might be easier when we see another runner pop into here because of how they have their stream setups.
We have found the second item.
Yeah, the Aniki was the other item in level 3, thanks to our tracker that's running behind the scenes, Mr. Cab 55.
Yeah, that was a great job by Mr. Cab catching that item. That was our floor item in level 3. So now Sci-Town has all the keys in the world. And unfortunately for Raikou, that shutter door opened where this diamond staircase was. So that is not where Zelda was either.
Well, thankfully, you can move north.
Yeah, absolutely here. So now Sci-Town going to make the play here for level 7. He is still a bow away from being in go mode. Fred finding the heart container, and he's saying no to that. Time is of the essence. He knows it.
Yeah. He needs to get this ladder out of here, which he did pull out. And it looks like he wants to still explore a little bit more, because I think he left level 3.
Oh, and we find our map.
Yeah, we do. Now, according to his screen, or according to our tracker here, he did not get the Triforce out of level 3. But the other thing of importance here is he does not have the silver arrows yet.
No, he doesn't. So he does need to go back into level 3, and there's the map for level 1. Yeah, this is definitely Swiss cheese on level 9. I mean, it literally looks like, and I know we jokingly say that that's what level 9 maps look like in shapes, but this one definitely takes the cake.
Wow, did you see what Raiku's max bomb count is? It's 5.
That means he spent a bomb on every mugger room. That means he's hit all 3 mugger rooms. Whoa!
Well, he's hit all 3 because I think actually 2 of the 3 were forced mugger rooms. The 1 and 2 was definitely forced. The one in level 1 was forced. The 4 was not necessarily forced, but you had to go that direction if you wanted to find where the staircase item was. So you were forced into having to take 2 of those in this case. Dr. JPHD finding the heart container underneath the staircase at level number 6.
It'll be interesting to see if he makes another play for the magical sword, but if he finds that other heart container, which again is found in a Gliok room, before he finds the Triforce, he would be guaranteed the magical sword at that point. Rick, I've done a lot of Zelda 1 commentary in my days. I don't think I've ever seen a runner have 5 bombs maximum.
I know, and that's going to really hurt him here. Now, thankfully, this is a very, very good, generous enemy set that can drop bombs. The blue Lionels do, the red Riz Robes, and the Gibdos, they all drop bombs. I do want to point this out because it does become very, very important. Now, obviously, we want to keep a focus on our 4 restreamed runners, but we do have our first finisher of the race, and this is important because this is what comes down to the average. This is what comes down to what is compiled for the Z-score these runners are trying to get for their averages, and that is because Redbird Grad had finished in first place with an official time of 47:50. GG's to Mr. RBG.
That is a lightning fast shapes time there, Rick, and that time very well could vault him to the top. We'll see.
Now, that being said, any other further finishers we're going to keep off topic until we get to the first finisher here on the screen.
Right.
So now we have Raikou Rider trying to search through this level. And the reason why I bring up the fact that somebody's finished is because now the pressure is starting to rise. As you now see, if you are paying attention to the SRL results, the stress starts to build up just a little bit. Now you're trying to hurry it up because now you see that the based time for the Z-score is starting to be established. As Dr. J PhD did pick up the magical sword, but he had 14. It was guaranteed.
Yep, and also we found one of the 2 items in level 9. It was the wooden boomerang. So yeah, and yeah, looking at Redbird's numbers going into this race, he was sitting in 5th place for the week. And that is going to boost him further. It very well could put him in the top 2, Rick.
That depends on what the score turns out to be. I'll take a look at his numbers in just a few moments, but we see Raikou having some issues here with his Patra, and that Patra almost came very close.
Oh, did he get the master one out of the way? Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
he's got the last one down. Nice.
And the more important thing is if he takes one more bop by a Patra, that's it. He's done.
Not only is bombs coming into play, Rick, his key count is dangerously low. He's down to 2 keys now.
Which is interesting considering the fact that at one point in time, he had like 10 of them.
This turns out to be one of those level 9s where you need all the keys in the world. This is why level 9 is known as the great equalizer, Rick. I mean, resource management coming into play. I've seen this happen time and time again where you have a whole bunch of locked doors, which are, required to beat the C's. We find the heart container is the other item in level 9.
Which means that the magic boomerang was an 8.
7.
Magic boomerang was the 4. There it is, yep.
Rick, as I like to say, all you got to do is talk about something and the situation presents itself. So that completes all of our items for this seed.
Well then, friends, in that case, we do have an idea of where everything is going to be in this seed. As you can see, the full list is right there in the middle. Items on the right-hand side, the level that it's at is on the left-hand side. The old man means it was the white sword item. The Armos means, well, it was the Armos, and that little reddish thing means it was the ladder item.
Yep, that's right. So, we still have not found, I don't think we have found Zelda yet, and again, we haven't found the pig yet. I haven't heard a roar.
I have not heard a roar either. And that's why I brought up the whole fact that we've already had one finisher on the board, is because now what's going to go through Raikou's mind is, first finisher has come through, now it's crunch time.
Sci-Town gets his Triforce out of level 7. That's going to be his 6th Triforce piece. Fred now here in level 3, he'll find his silver arrows, and if he decides to explore the whole thing, he'll also find the magical key. And again, Raikou did, as you mentioned, had 10 keys at one point, down to 2, and this could come into play for both Fred and Dr. J, looking at their key counts.
Yeah, Raikou has definitely gone through a whole lot of keys, and we have still yet to hear the roar, and he is out of bombs. And I'll tell you, as a runner, when you're in level 9 and you have a 0 next to either those keys or those bombs, your heart is now just racing. And by the way, I had to take a look at Raikou's map here. I've got to figure out where he hasn't been. But that room that is in the very northwest corner is sticking out to me like a sore thumb as Fred gets the silver arrows, and he will now be in the Triforce and Go mode finally.
And right
he's
now,
getting into 7. He does have the recorder. I know I saw him go to the white sword item and pick that up.
Right now, I mean, Raikou Rider, just the resource coming into play. He's went through a good chunk of this level 9. We still haven't found anything yet.
And there's Dr. J PhD getting in the Triforce and Go mode by way of picking up those silver arrows as well in level 3. And there's Fred picking up the Triforce out of level 3. He's still getting into level 5, get that Triforce, which is where Sci-Town just picked up right now. And also Fred's got to get into level 7. 7's going to be the harder of the 2 dungeons.
Oh, easily. And Dr. J and Fred getting their Triforce out of level 3, so neither one of them are going to have that magical
Yep, it
key.
is! It is that northwest room!
Here's Gannon! Looking for 8 hits. But a Hyrule Driver is going to cost him 1 heart, and he's only got a heart and a half. Oh, and he just took one right there! And another! He's gone!
Yeah, and now he is going to have to try to get back up there and just calm himself down. That's the biggest thing. You got to calm yourself down after that happens, because if you are riding into the refight with a whole bunch of salt because you just lost in the first go around, it's going to be a hard second fight.
And we finally see the ink blot for level 5. So once again, contestants, name that ink blot. And yeah, boy, your ESP kicking through there, Rick. You were absolutely right about that suspicious northwest section of level 9. You were dead on.
When you see nooks and crannies like that in these dungeons, like level 9 here, you start to think that could be the worst place to either hide either component. And according to Chad, we've already seen the first component. Now, Raiku's going to come back into this fight. He's got 3 hearts, but now is the question. We're going to see how jittery he is with the fight. That will tell how...
Yeah, he wants that stun lock here. But Ganon not cooperating. He takes another Hyrule Driver, but this time he's got the stun lock. 4, 5, 6. Oh, he lost him and takes 2 more Hyrule Drivers.
And that means he is a little bit tilted at this point, and that's going to make things even worse for him. So he's going to come back in, and he's going to have to do this again. By the way, Dr. J PhD does have the Triforce out of level 6, and he is on his way into level 9 at this point. He's going to have to figure out the same puzzle, and he is also at a max bomb count of 5.
Wow. I've never seen this before. We have 2 runners with a max bomb count of 5. Right now, Fred's got a max bomb count of 6. Yeah, that is absolutely gross. As Sidetown finds that power brace in level 5, says to that. I mean, the one advantage Dr. J has over Raikou Rider, I mean, he has the magical sword. He's got 14 hearts. He's got 255 rupees. Now, we'll see if the key count comes into play for Dr. J, because, again, Raikou exhausted a lot of keys here in level 9.
Here's round number 3 of this fight here for Raikou. So let's see how he can do. Get himself a little cooler down here. Maybe get into a stun lock position. He's hoping to get that. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. And this one is a whole lot better for Raikou. Rider finishes off Ganon. Time to save the princess.
Yeah, that's a perfect fight right there for Raikou. So he's got the bacon. He's got the Triforce of Power. And believe he does know where Zelda is, so he is still going to sub-hour this seed, but he is probably going to be a little bit disappointed he couldn't get first try Ganon.
But is it good enough to get second place in the race? We'll find out in just a moment. There's some bombs for him as he takes the staircase on over. Dr. J is just a few rooms away at this point, but I don't know if he can get to him from the direction that he's going at this point. Raikou just face tanking the whiz robes at this point. He knows where he needs to go. And face tanks a little bit more. Gonna have to be a little more careful. Maybe a couple more rooms to go. Dr. J PhD is at 15 hearts, and there's the shutter door that opens. And ladies and gentlemen, Raikou Rider is going to be the first on stream to win or beat the seed.
And Fred has just entered level 9 himself, and look at where Zelda was relative to where Ganon was. That's crazy.
Well, that was absolutely annoying. So now we can get into the full results. Once again, as previously mentioned, Redbird Grand crushed the seed, winning it in 47-50. Jestrick was second place, 49-46. Shaddy was in third with a 54-38, and then Raikou Rider is still part of that 5-runner top 5 compilation for the Z-score, finishing 57-59.
Very respectable time for him, and for those of you playing Name That Tune, it was indeed from Chrono Trigger, and I was absolutely right. That indeed is a very, very, very famous SNES RPG. So GG to Raikou Rider. Boy, I tell you, we got a nice battle on our hands here, Rick, between Dr. J and Fred. I mean, Fred, This is just about as minimalist as it gets. He's only got 7 hearts, and he's got the wood sword. He doesn't even have the white sword from the coast.
Yeah, he doesn't need that stuff at this point. I'll just go ahead and do it with the wood sword and see how things go. Sighttown using a potion in level 8. He's in the upper part of this level 8, a section that we have not seen. So he will see the magic, or rather, he will see another heart container in just a moment.
You know, he does have the red ring, which is going to help. And, knowing his abilities, he shouldn't have too terribly much trouble getting through this level 9. By the way, Dr. J does know where Zelda is, and we do have Raikou Rider, the first of our 4 featured runners, here in the commentator's booth with us. GG, a very respectable time for you tonight.
I needed that badly. My seating is so terrible right now.
Yeah, that sub-hour definitely boosted you in the rankings here for the week, and I'll tell you what, this was a very interesting seed to start things out. Most players made the play to level 3 first, and ladies and gentlemen, here's Zelda.
Yeah,
Fred is going to need 15 hits.
Yeah, Fred made it into level 9 after Dr. J PhD, but that is the first one to find him over in their northwest corner. So good job for Fred on that one. So as he tries to tackle on with this Ganon fight, we'll talk with Raikou in just a few moments once after he finishes this fight with Ganon. 7 hearts, wood sword, trying to get him over the corner, trying to get him into a stun lock, and that's just a little bit of a tough time for him. Seems like he keeps losing the stun lock over there. By the way, we did have another finisher. Yunos finished 5th place, 1 hour, 11 minutes.
Gotta watch out for those Zelda hugs, Fred. Just a couple more hits left to go, and down goes Zelda. We've got Royal Jelly and the Triforce of Wisdom. I don't know if Fred knows the exact path to Ganon's room, because he's playing as a Gibdo. The roles are reversed. He just defeated Princess Zelda and is trying to rescue Ganon. And Yunos with that top 5, again, he has just been absolutely consistent so far this entire tournament.
So I've got a couple questions here just that we need to pick your brain about. First of all, what prompted you to go back into that level 8 where the bow was?
2 items left.
So you got the bow.
There were 2 items left, and there were 2 items left, and there were 3 items outstanding for go mode. So I couldn't risk 2 items. I was willing to gamble 1 item, especially if it was a floor item in a combat heavy 8.
So that was why when you found the bow, you just left.
Yeah.
Sighttown finally getting the bow himself. He does have the Triforce for level 8. He is heading to level 9 as well. Fred still trying to figure out where to go to get to Princess Zelda. Shaitan was 6th place, 1 hour, 1 minute, and 5 seconds. GG's to these runners. So you saw Redbird Grad finish. Were you paying attention to the SRL results when Redbird Grad finished? So what went through your mind when you saw that done from him?
When I saw that, no, it was more that I was paying attention to the lack of duns when I was in 9. So I was thinking, Redbird is so good, Yunos, Fred, all these people are so good. I was expecting, with how easily accessible the red ring was, and how easily accessible the ladder was, you just needed a key. I was like, why are these? If these people aren't done, then 9 must just be a disaster. And I started taking staircases.
By the way, speaking of Fred, he has just finished off this scene, and he will finish in 7th place, 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 5 seconds. GG's to Fred.
Boy, I tell you, Rick, that's why level 9 is known as the Great Equalizer. Remember, Dr. J had a pretty healthy lead on Fred going into level 9, but Fred just made very quick work out of that level 9, and it didn't take him too long to figure it out, and he is done with a very, very good time. GG to Fred.
Oh, also the obligatory Holy I beat Yunos, Holy I beat Fred. I think that might actually be the first time I've beaten Fred in a restreamed race.
So now how would you like to say that to Fred?
Yeah, he's here in the commentators booth. All right. So Dr. J's still trying to find...
On that note, let's welcome in Fred to the conversation. Hi, Fred.
Hi, everybody.
So would you like to have a rebuttal to what Raikou just said?
I mean, he might be right. I don't looked at the stats lately as to how often we've raced against each other. I mean, Raiku's really good, so clearly it it's just a matter of time if it had been one-sided, lopsidedly towards me. So, good game.
I must say, Fred, I'm very impressed.
I think my overall record against you is now something like 2-17. I mean, it goes to show how good you are and why you were on stage earlier.
I must say, Fred.
To answer Redbird Grad, and I actually want to go to Raikou Rider about this because that was just prompted here by Redbird Grad in chat. Anybody else have to give up 3 bombs to muggers this seed? So, Raikou Rider, how did you feel about going through level 9 with a max bomb capacity of 5?
Another reason why I was so thorough in dungeons after I found the 3rd mugger is I was just desperate for bomb capacity, and it almost cost me a ton of places. Another thing I was very surprised about is I went into level 9 with something like 8 keys, and that was another factor in my decision to start taking staircases in 9. Sorry
to interrupt, Raikou. Sidetown has found Ganon.
Oh my
Dr.
God!
J is still trying to figure out this path here, and Sidetown could just pass by Dr. J PhD as well. We'll talk a little bit more about this in just a moment. But Sidetown with a nice stun lock on to Ganon there finishes him off.
That was amazing.
By the way, the bomb upgrade was in level 6 for 75 rupees, and I believe it was in the very bottom left corner. But you found the Triforce, so you were having no chance of finding that.
Another reason why I left level 6 is because the very first room to the left, I bombed everywhere around the start of 6, and when you had to bomb on the left side past Landmolazon Ritalin, I was like, no. And I don't think I have ever noped out of a dungeon faster than 3.
Yeah, that level 3, that enemy set in level 3 in that moat room, and then he had the Chevy room in level on the left. It's crazy, but
nope.
So, anything else you want to add here before we turn to Fred here?
Mostly the whole level 9 decision was based on no one in this tough field was finished. I just figured the reason why the finish times were so high is just Shapes 9 being Shapes 9. That's all it came down to. I also did not feel good about finding ladder in 1 so late behind 1 key door.
Well,
Dr. J's got him.
Actually, you were the first one to find the ladder. So, GG's to you, Raikou. Dr. J finally found Ganon and finished him off. Let's go ahead and talk to Fred right now. So, Fred, what were your overall thoughts on this scene?
I wish I'd gone back to level 1 significantly earlier than I did. I just, kept getting key stymied there early going, and then as time went on, just like saying, okay, let's just check all these other dungeons. And when I had enough keys, I was like, I can either go to 1 or I can go to 3, 4, 7 all together. And I said, you know what? Let me try to save 1 for the end. And I chose very poorly.
Well, I will say this though, Fred. I was very impressed with your level 9. 7 hearts, wood sword, great Ganon fighter. In your case, Zelda fight. Wow.
Hold on just a second here. We could have a close finish here between Dr. J, PhD, and Sidetown. They're in the same room here. Sidetown trying to get rid of this Patra, but Dr. J walks right by him, and Dr. J is going to take 9th place as Sidetown finishes off this Patra. And there's Dr. J, PhD, finishing in 8th place, 108.06. Sidetown coming into the room, and he sees the shutter door open, and he will finish in 10th place.
Wow, that's snipe job right there. Yeah, Dr. J nearly getting cut. Yeah.
Get your GGs into the chat here for both of those runners. Dr. J, PhD, 9th place, 108.06. Sidetown, 10th place, 108.22.
Fantastic job by all 4 of these runners tonight. All of them finishing in the top 10. So please make sure you give all 4 of our runners, Fred Coughlin, Dr. J, Sidetown, and Raikou Rider, a follow. Absolutely tremendous effort tonight.
So, Fred, how about that level 3 start?
That was painful. Seeing the evil there, and then, as I said, it would have been so much nicer if I'd gone back through level 1 first, because then we could have had, I could have not triple dipped that level with, killing all those Wizrobes to find out, oh yeah, you do need a ladder anyway to get through. So that was very, very painful.
Yeah, that did set you back a little bit of time. As we welcome in Dr. JPHD in here. And one interesting thing of note is the fact that your 9 was a whole lot faster than Dr. JPHD's. What was your thoughts going through that level 9, Dr. J?
Once I started seeing it as much of 9 as I did without even hearing Ganon, I'm like, it's got to be a magical staircase. And turns out it was. That could have been a lot faster than I did, but I mean, that only real complaints were I just kept on dropping bombs the whole time. Every single mugger.
Yeah, how did it feel to have to go through the seed with a max bomb capacity of 5?
Just sitting there thinking, this is fine. Nothing's going to go wrong here. And it kind of didn't.
Yeah, the funny thing is early on, we had a couple of runners dig level 6 early. I believe it was Fred and Sidetown. They found the bomb upgrade, but at the time, didn't have the rupees to make the purchase.
I would have loved to find it when I did, but...
And I'm assuming, we're just taking a shot here, because I don't think we saw this dug out. The upper left portion of that segmented level 8, I'll bet you had the second bomb upgrade.
Would not surprise me if it did. But I was not going back there when I had already gotten 2 items out of there.
Not a chance.
So my question here is, your strategy kind of took you away from going to the Armos near the graveyard for quite some time. What went through your mind when you saw that there was the red ring that was easily available at that Armos?
Better late than never. Defense wasn't really a whole ton of an issue besides trying to go into 3, which I had to save that for last. But didn't bother me too much because I had already found a bunch of good things, and it's just like, oh, well, that wasn't nice earlier, but I'll live.
And is Sidetown here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey.
GG's to you, Sidetown. Very, very nice finish. Just not quite enough to get past Dr. J, but hey, top 10 finish. That's a very respectable job tonight. Well done.
Yeah. 2 rooms away from start. I could have had the bow and been in go mode for a really long time. So that was not my finest hour for sure, but holy cow.
Yeah, that level 8, unfortunately for you, where you had to go back in there, and you're the only runner who, on the restream, dug the northern section of that level 8. Do you want to know how... I mean, I know you saw the finishes in the IRC, but the finishes, it came down to that Patra you're killing 2 rooms away from Zelda.
I had no life and I had no medicine. I felt like I had to do it, and probably didn't have to do it, but
you didn't want to have a Patra hit you and then send you all the way back to Star at that point.
Yeah, and knowing my luck, I'd have probably went a different direction if I'd have died or something silly. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I was that close to the guys, considering when I saw the times on IRC.
So next week, Fred, what do we send to you? What do we make these runners go through next?
Oh gosh, so if you've been liking this tournament so far, you're going to be enjoying hopefully the next week here. Week 5 is going to be the culmination of basically all the flags. So each week you've noticed one flag has gotten set. So week 2, we shuffled the dungeons around amongst themselves. So if you went to the level 1 entrance, maybe it's level 3, maybe it's level 1 itself, maybe it's level 9. That will be in week 5. Week 3, we shuffled enemy hit points and started putting them around on the overworld as well. So enemies in this next coming week will also have plus or minus 2 HP. And we also take in the flag from this week as well with the Shapes dungeon. So the runners will be trying to navigate through brand new shapes, hunting for those maps and trying to identify, where the Triforce could be in that madness. So it's going to be a ton of fun going on here. This is the flag set for the final week of for the final week of qualifiers, and will also be the flag set used throughout the bracket phase.
In addition to this, You had to try to find that map through 6 HP red Wizrobes.
It happens.
Or-
They're fun. Those are the fun ones.
Or 2.
Or the good old 12 HP blue Wizrobes.
You can play the magic find the bomb wall and force bombs on other enemies, so that way you can do not need the map, of course.
So, any closing thoughts before we end this broadcast? We'll start with Fred first.
No, just thank you again for this. Good game to everyone who played tonight. There's been a lot of incredible play in this tournament here, so hopefully you guys were able to see some fun stuff here on the restream, and looking forward to week 5 here when we start seeing all the madness thrown together and lots more fun.
So I got one final question for you, by the way, Fred. Why didn't you grab that white sword?
White sword?
He was never at the coast.
I never checked coast.
That explains
Apparently.
it. That's why. Wow. I can't get over that. That never happens, as they say at GDQ. I know this is a GDQ, but that never happens. I never see a runner never check the coast. That's amazing.
I was
That
down at
hasn't
8.
happened before.
Yeah, well, I was down at 8. I was desperately looking for ladder, and I said, oh, the coast item, I can't get to it right now, so why bother checking, I guess? And I think I had gotten my screen scrolls messed up, and I said I was going to 2 before 8, or maybe I did 8 first. I don't remember what the order was, but either way, it didn't even click to me to check it because whatever routing I did.
Well, GG's, Fred. You made it work for you. Any closing thoughts, Dr. J, PhD?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when all the flags are in play here, because we've seen a lot of things change.
And we'll close things off by giving Sidetown the closing word.
Well, thanks everybody for all that you did in helping set up this evening, and I can't wait to just have all the flags mushed together. Let's just jumble everything.
And we'll start doing that tomorrow afternoon. The first of the week 5 qualifiers will take place beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. And we'll have a lot of fun mixing everything all together as we get ready to lead into the brackets. We'll find out just who will play who in brackets 1 week from tomorrow. We'll have that answer for you. I'm looking forward to this, Laz.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be interesting to see what these runners have learned from these first 4 weeks, put it all together in week 5, and see exactly how they adapt, because those final 2 top 10 seeds, they're going to be up for grabs. Anybody's game. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and say thank you to Mr. Cab, who is clicking the buttons in the background for us, and also thanks to everybody else who helped get this thing all set up and ready to go, for Raikou Writer, for F. Coughlin, for Dr. J, PhD, and for Sidetown. This has been week 4. This has been the final qualifier for week number 4. Tomorrow, we begin week number 5, where we throw everything at these runners. Oh, God, I'm going to hate this overworld, aren't I?
Well, good luck to you, Rick, but I know you can do it.
I'm not so certain about that. We'll see. I mean, I've done a practice run of it today, and it didn't really make me feel real ambitious about what's about to come. We'll see how it treats your runners, though, when we throw everything and the kitchen sink to these runners. All right, let's get on out of here. Thanks for joining us. I'm Adirondack Rick, and I'll let Lost Cards fans say the final word here as we say goodbye to week number 4.
I'm LOZ Cards fan.
Randomizer
And I'm LOZ Cards fan 23. I hope you have a great weekend, and week 5 starting tomorrow. Don't miss it. So long, everybody.
Have a good evening.